What's up guys, welcome to the G10 tutorials. This is gonna be my first tutorial here. My name is Otavio. It's been a year since my first edit and a couple people has been asking me for tutorials, so I'm gonna start doing it. So let's jump right on. I'm using the Photoshop 2022, the newest version. I'm gonna be making it like full screen Instagram size, which is 180 for 1350. So first thing I'm gonna do is get the pictures and the logos and everything we have like to the file. There we go. I'm gonna be trying to talk about the shortcuts that I used while I'm doing it, but I don't know if I remember all of them. So if you're missing something, if you think I did something that you didn't see, just make a comment down below here and then I'll answer you for sure. So first thing I'm gonna do, I'm gonna get all these logos in a folder. So for that, I select the top one, I hold shift and I select the bottom one. They all got selected. So I'm gonna be telling the shortcuts I use because that's something that you gotta start using, start learning. Photoshop is really good at giving you shortcuts. It makes it a lot easier, makes a lot faster. And so now I'm gonna be doing Command G to make it a group, and then the logos, and then the pictures, the same thing. So how I start my designs, I usually start by making the background. So I'll just make like a solid color layer here. Let's do it. This right here, this color right here. And then I have a couple textures here that I use, like you can find them online. There's a bunch of stuff there. I'm gonna be using this one right here. So I'm applying a blend mode to it. I'm gonna be applying overlay just to give this little effect here. Let's start on the pictures. And think about the rest of the background later. I'll get this picture here. I'll be using this one with as a main picture because like it's grounded, has a ground on it, it's a full body picture. And then this one we're gonna be incorporate in the background somehow. So all the edits that I do, it's not like the highest quality pictures, but I still find a way like to work around it, do a good job with it. So to cut, Photoshop has a really cool feature today, which is the select subject. You just go to select subject and then you make a selection. I don't really like it because as you can see it makes like little curves here. If you create a mask here, you're gonna see that it doesn't really do a good job. Like if the picture is really good, sometimes it does a really good job. So just a reminder that like if you want to save some time, select subject can be an option. This one right here I can. So I'm gonna be using the pen, curvature pen tool right here, you can find it, and I'll make it fast so we don't lose time. So alright, so just finished the cut here. Here I want you guys to see like the hair. I don't worry about the hair. Like Photoshop has a really good feature today that allows us to fix this right here. So just like give a nice and round cut on the hair, and then we're gonna work with it later. So from here, what we wanna do is click here on selection and just give it an OK, and it will make a selection. Then we're gonna create a layer mask. Layer mask, if you don't know how it works, it's a layer mask works as a map. Everything that's in white here on this mask, little mask right here, it's gonna show, and everything that's in black is gonna be transparent. So I didn't cut the image, I just like hide what I didn't want of it. So that's how layer mask works. And now I'm gonna be using a tool that Photoshop has to fix this hair right here. So for that, you wanna double click here on the mask, the layer mask we just created. There's this tool right here, which is called Refine Edge Brush Tool. Here you just go click and drag around it, and it will like kind of follow along the hair. This time it didn't work really out because the picture is not like in a full HD quality, but like we can fix it with the brush now. So as I say, the mask hides what's in black and shows what's in white. So here there's a little fail in the hair, so we're gonna paint white where you want it to show it. So I'm gonna get a brush with white, opacity of 100. I'm gonna go white, and then I'm gonna be painting here to show it back on. And then I'm gonna hide all these areas that I don't want to. And how we're gonna do it, we're gonna paint it black. So on the layer, with the layer mask, you always gotta be with the layer mask layer selected here, not the picture. The layer mask selected, and then you're gonna paint black, and then it will kind of get off the screen. I'm gonna hide it. Okay, I'm okay with this cut right here. It's not perfect, but I'm okay with it. Get this little thing off right here. Same thing, make a selection. And now I'm gonna paint it black because I want it. I'm gonna select the layer mask and I'm gonna paint it black so it will be transparent. There we go. I'm gonna select the layer, the photo layer, and then I'm gonna hold Command Shift A. This will open this camera raw filter, which you can like mess around with stuff here, like add exposure, contrast. You can do some cool stuff here. So just here's a taste thing, like whatever you like will be the best. So next thing we'll do the shadow. The way I do it, I work with artificial shadow on the ground. I'm gonna create a new layer, clicking right here on this plus sign and set it like on the bottom of the player. With this layer selected, we're gonna go to the brush, and I use a technique it's pretty simple. It's just like I paint the shadow as I want. So first thing I want to do is set the opacity like to 80, around 80. Photoshop has this feature here right now that you can squeeze your brush. If I makes the brush looks like it's in the ground, so let's do it. Here I think it's good. It's a good size too. So I will start with 80 and 60 on my size. You can see what's best for you. But here we're gonna do only parts of the body and the image that touch the ground. So here, right here, it touches the ground. And right here the ball is on the ground too, so only those two. Now we get the opacity down a little bit and we raise the size of the brush, and we keep doing it, keep just drawing the shadow. It's pretty simple, just go with it. Those are like some details that makes the difference on flyers. Make sure you pay attention to that. So here I just go getting the opacity down and then the size up, and then we have a shadow that's pretty nice. Artificial, but it looks real, looks good. Here I'm gonna name it shadow, and I'm gonna select those two groups and make a group with it, main player. Now if I want to like change the size, the shadow is gonna change the size together, so that's a good thing. After you have like 20, 30, 40 layers here, naming them is pretty good habit to have. It will help you in the future. I don't actually plan my designs. I start always like on the background, cutting pictures, and then I see where they're going. So let's cut this picture, so I'll speed up it again. Here I'm gonna try to use the select subject, see if it will do a good job this time. It did a pretty good job this time, you can see. Like it cut really good. Yeah, we're gonna use this cut. This is nice. Just this part right here, Photoshop missed it, so let's get it off. I'm gonna select the layer mask, and I'm gonna paint it black because I want it to be transparent on the area that I just select. So the reason I make a selection here, because I can go with like with a really big brush, it won't affect the selection that I've made. So that's why I make a selection. Now I'm gonna press the Command D. So with deselect, every time you get a selection, you only can work on that selection area. So if you want to deselect it, Command D is the command for that. Oh yeah, Photoshop got this armor here. Now there's something else here you gotta take out. I'll take it manually with the brush, painting black with the layer mask selected. Just paint it black and it will go off. Alright, I'm okay with it. I'll make it really big right here. So what I'm gonna do here, I just had an idea. I'm gonna make this bottom part right here be like the ground. The reason I'm making this picture really small is because the quality of it is not the best. So I'll make this one really small, and this one right here is a really pretty good quality. Look, there's a lot of details. That's why I'm gonna use this one like really big on the background, and this one small. So now what I wanna do, I'm gonna duplicate this layer of the player here using Command J. Now I have two. So the reason that I use layer mask and not like deleting stuff is now like if I want like the rest of the background of this picture, I still have it. So I'm gonna delete this layer mask that we just created, and I'm gonna drag it to the player 2 folder. And then here, what I wanna do is I wanna apply this grass right here to this mask right here. So all you need to do is hold the key Option on MacBook. I think it's Alt on Windows. And then you see this little arrow right here. You see like when you place it like between those two layers, it will show like this little arrow. You click on it and then it applies only to the picture you have below it. It's a little hard to understand, but you'll get it eventually. So first thing I'm gonna do, I'm gonna take the color off this picture. So I'm gonna be using the Command Shift A to open the camera raw filter. And I'm gonna get saturation off. So I have a pretty good grass here. So now I'm gonna make a layer mask on this picture right here. I create a layer mask and I'm gonna hit the shortcut G, and G opens the gradient. So gradient, you can like paint black and make like stuff like this. Like you can also use a brush for that, like with a big brush with horizontal 0, you can blend back on our mask and you do the same effect. I like the gradient because with the gradient you can do it like pretty straight. So I'm gonna be using the gradient. You just drag and click and drag, and then it's gonna do this effect right here. Okay, I like it. Now I'm gonna create a solid color layer on top of this one, and I'm gonna get green right here. And I'm gonna be holding the Option key or Alt for Windows to do the same thing. I'm gonna get this green only on the grass layer. To do that, we hold the Option or Alt on Windows, and then we're gonna apply this down here. So this, now we gotta do like the same process as here. We're gonna paint black the areas that we don't want it. So I'm gonna use the gradient again to make it green, to make it black here in the layer mask, so it only shows the region that I want. And then I'll get this green right here. I gave like 2 clicks on the solid color, open this window, and then I can come with this right here, select the shade of green that I want. I want this one right here. Now I'm gonna apply like a blend mode right here to this solid color layer and make it, I think that one looks good. This picture is really yellow, so I'm gonna do something now to take this yellow off this. So I'm gonna come here to the main player folder, select the layer of the picture and add like a hue saturation layer. Hue saturation controls the color and the intensity of color. So here on the hue saturation menu, I'm gonna go for yellows, and I'm gonna get these yellows, get a saturation off. I'll probably make the reds off too. That's gonna make it look good. It was a lot of red also, so let's get the yellows and reds all off the picture and leave only the greens. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna work a little bit on the background of it, make some details that I really like to do. I'm gonna go here on logos, make it really big. Those are just details that if you don't pay a lot of attention, you're not gonna see, but they make the design look good. So I make it really big back here. I'm gonna put soft light and get the opacity really low. You can almost see it, but at the end of the design it will show and you'll see like the little details. It will look good. So let's see what else we have here. We have this logo right here. So to take this background off, I'm gonna be using this Magic Wand tool. I'm just gonna click on the white area that I don't want, and this will select, I don't want the white stuff. I'm gonna do a command to invert the selection, and then it will give me the parts of this picture that I want. So I'll press Command Shift I, and it will make the invert selection. Now I gotta select all that I want, which is the logo. So I'm gonna press Command J, and here I duplicate the area that I wanted. So I can delete the other one, and then I have the logo that I want. So let's see what we're gonna do with this one. Put it behind here, somehow right here. One thing that I learned: don't be afraid of hiding stuff. That's what makes design look good. Like stuff that's hiding behind. And let's see what else we have here. I have this other logo. I don't really like it here. Let's leave it there for now. I'm probably gonna move it later. One thing that I really like to do in my designs is create like a layer on top of everything. I always name it, I'll get a brush like around 400, get a hardness to 0, black, then I'll make this. I know it doesn't look good now, but it will. So I make these all around. And then with this layer selected, I go to filter, blur, Gaussian blur. And then it will like kind of spread out. Here you can like play with it. I make this and then I get the opacity to where I want. I kind of like doing that. All my designs has this. His name is Chavis Brooks and he's a center back. So we'll use this information to make details on the flyer. So here the background looks pretty white and I'll make it a little bit more greener, so I'll add some details. Chavis. I'll get this on the same tone. Get this shade of green here. Let's choose a font for this detail, like this one. Like I'm gonna do here, whenever you wanna do something bigger or smaller, you wanna change the size of something, Command T. You open those little keys right here and you can move them around. And with the Command T, and I'm gonna right click on top of this and rotate it 9 degrees so I can have it this way right here. Because I wanna just do like a little detail here. I won't show his name, like it's a little weird, but it will look good. And then I'll apply a blend mode to it, maybe linear border, like that. So make it really big actually. Oh, right here, I like it. Let's duplicate it and make it on the other side too. Yeah, I like it. I like it. I use his name to make like a detail on the flyer. That's something that I do a lot. Okay, I know you can read it, but it looks good. So now I'm gonna add his actual name here. I'm gonna show it. So, to create a text layer, you press the key, the shortcut T, and you open this little thing you can see here, and you click on it, and you open it right there for you. That's his name, Chavis Brooks. About fonts, like I don't really like the fonts that Photoshop gives you, so I would encourage you to go and download new fonts. I love this one, La Babaca. I've used that a lot on my designs. So let's see what we're gonna do here. I'm gonna rotate it again. Yeah, it looks good. And here I'm gonna duplicate this layer and make like this C show up, these hiding layers that I put here. I made it on purpose. Now they're gonna show up. I'm gonna duplicate this layer and I'm gonna apply a stroke to it. And the stroke I'm gonna do like really thin, like one size. Oh, the stroke is on over. Let me get it to normal. I want it white. So I'll get this layer on top of this player 2 right here. So here it is. That's what I wanted. Opacity applies to everything. Applies to the strokes, to the effects that we add on the picture. And the fill applies for everything but the effect. So that's why I used it. So here I get only the stroke that I wanted. I'm gonna place it right on top of it. And it'll give this really nice effect here, like the letters are hidden, but not really. I like it. These are right back, so let's add it to the design. Another text layer, hitting the T key, then I'm gonna put it right back. And his number is 14. And I'm gonna be using this font right here, Endley Mono. I like to use this font. You can add space between the letters. I like to using this font with like 500. It gives like a really nice effect. Let's see where I'm gonna place it. Align. These pink lines, they are automatic and they help you a lot. Holding the Command key, you can come here to these numbers and click and drag, and you have like this blue line that will stay here however you want. So here I want to align this Women Tone logo with these letters right here, so I'm gonna use it. I'm gonna get these right here a little bit smaller. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna work a little bit with lights. So first thing I wanna do like a little green light. I'll come here, I'll start with the background player. I'll create a new layer. I'll set it to overlay. And I'm gonna get a brush, right here the brush, with a decent size. Oh, if it doesn't show for you, like when you have the brush on, and it doesn't show for you, like the little circle, just press the caps lock key. It took me like weeks to figure it out. Like sometimes I would be really mad because I didn't have the little circle on. but it was just like press the caps lock key. To do this, I could like just paint it out, but you see that I would paint here the background too. I don't want it. I want the light go only on the picture. So for that, I'll hold command, and I'm gonna come here to this layer mask right here, which is the one that we created, and I'm gonna click on it like with the command key, holding command key, and then you'll make the selection that we want. So now I can brush like all around here, and it will only paint the areas where the selection is. Right there, I think it looks good. Right there, I'll hit command D to deselect, and I'm gonna do the same thing on the other one. Main player right here. I'm gonna create a layer, set it to overlay, and then you come here and hold the command key, click on the layer mask, and you will make a selection around the player that you want. So I'm gonna select the layer that I want again, the light layer again, and then I'll come here with the brush and make it a little greener. Just get the opacity down a little bit. It's just a light. There we go, I think that looks good. The last thing I'm gonna do, I'm gonna add some sort of smoke to it, some sort of lights. Doing that on the background behind the layer of the player 2. I'm gonna do only in the background. So I'm gonna create here a layer smoke, and I have this brush right here. You can look up for these brushes. Like, these brushes are pretty common. There's tons of it on the internet. Like this one that I'm gonna use, it's called powder Photoshop brushes. There's about 20 of them here, and I'm gonna show you what they do. I'm gonna make you white, and so that's what they do. Like, it's literally, they give you, it's a brush that gives you like a smoke effect. And then what I do in the background, I always use the overlay one, like to give this light right here. So I'm gonna create a layer between those two layers. Here's player 2 and here's main player, so here's good. And I'm gonna make a little bit of a smoke here. I'll create a layer mask on this one, and I use the gradient to kind of delete a little bit of it. Just make it a little bit less. Sometimes like I just like to check the blend modes because they do some pretty cool stuff. I like the flyer as it is right now, so I'm just gonna add the G10 logo. Somehow I always like to do that really low key, and add it right here. And that's it. Let's save it. And now there's only one more step, which is Lightroom. Lightroom was a game changer for me. Like, when I learned how to use Lightroom, it like gives a bigger life to my flyers, to my graphics, and I'm sure that's gonna do that for you too. So I'm gonna hit Command S to save it. I'll save it Chavez Brooks. Save it, and then we'll go to Lightroom. Let's import the file that we just created and hit develop. Here in develop, I always like to add a little bit of clarity. Makes it look good. Here is just a tasting, like however you like. It's how it's good for you. So here right now, yellows, we don't have yellows. Have a lot of greens. Aqua. Oh, I don't like this aqua. Let's get it down a little bit. Have any blue? We have a lot of blue here. Let's get this blue out. You see, like on the white shirt, there's a lot of blue, so let's get all this blue out of here. So here's the flyer, it's ready. Let's export it. File, export. Here we have the flyer ready. Remember those details that I told you about in the beginning of it? Right there in the background, you can see like little details like these little waves, and there it is. So I'll be making videos every time, so stay tuned. We'll have more videos coming up, and that's it. I'll see you guys. Glad you guys watched it. Thanks for that. And if you have any questions, just shout me out and I'll help you out. Okay, alright. See you in the next video.